12th Bio-Botany Chapter 6 Principles of Ecology. In this part, we are going to learn about ecological adaptations. In this part, we are going to learn some selected areas. Plants live in different ecological habitat. They are aquatic, terrestrial. To live in different habitats, they have developed adaptations. Xerophytic plants live in dry areas. Hydrophytes live in water. To live in different habitats, they have developed adaptations. Based on the adaptations and habitat, plants are grouped under the following types: hydrophytes, xerophytes, mesophytes, epiphytes, and halophytes. We have learned about some of the types in lower classes. Hydrophytes are plants which live in water or wet places. Xerophytes live in dry areas. Most of the plants we see around us are mesophytes. They need moderate amount of water. We have already learned about epiphytes under the part biotic factors. And halophytes, they grow on soil with high concentration of salts. They live in mangrove forest. Now let us see some of the types one by one. There are different kinds of hydrophytes. They are free floating hydrophytes. Hydrophytes are water plants. They float on the surface of the water. The roots have no contact with soil. Iconia and Pistia are these types. They float on the surface. They move from one place to another place due to water current. They are not rooted plants. Rooted floating hydrophytes. The roots have connection with the soil. The leaves and flowers float on the surface. Nymphaea, Marsilia are the examples for rooted floating hydrophytes. They are rooted plants, but the leaves and flowers float. Submerged floating hydrophytes. They do not have contact with the air. They also do not have the contact with the soil. They are free floating, but they remain inside the water. They are free floating but remain inside the water. Ceratophyllum and Utricularia are the examples for submerged floating hydrophytes. Rooted submerged hydrophytes. The plants remain inside the water, but the roots have contact with the soil. Example: Vallisneria and Hydrilla. The plants remain inside the water. They are submerged but rooted. Amphibious hydrophytes, they are special type of plants. A part of the plant is inside the water. They are called as rooted emergent hydrophytes. They are rooted plants. A part of the plant is above the water. They have two different kinds of leaves. The leaves inside the water are different from the leaves above the water. Aerial part of the plant has different kinds of leaves. The part of the plant inside the water has different kinds of leaves. They have well developed vascular tissues like terrestrial plants. Sagittaria, ranunculus are the examples for amphibious hydrophytes. Xerophytes are plants which live in dry areas. There are three types of xerophytes. Ephemerals, they are drought escapers or drought evaders. They live in dry areas, but before the arrival of the dry season, they complete their life cycle. They produce flowers and seeds. They complete the life cycle before the arrival of the dry season. They are short duration. They live for short duration. Agimon comes under this type. Succulent hydrophytes. They have fleshy stem which stores water. Aloe, Opensia are the examples of succulent hydrophytes. These succulent xerophytes, they live in dry areas, they store more water. So internally they do not have any dry situation. Non-succulent xerophytes, they are the true xerophytes. Externally the dry condition is received by the plants. Inside also they have dry conditions. They do not have facilities to store water. Example, casuarina and nerium. Halophytes are plants. They live in salt soil. They are on the sides of seashore or mangrove areas. They live in marshy areas. The salt level is very high. They have two kinds of roots. One kind of roots grow above the soil level for the purpose of breathing. These roots are called as nematophores. So they live in marshy areas. When the seeds fall on the salty water, the seeds do not germinate. So they have special kinds of seed germination. They have vivipary mode of seed germination. Halophytes have vivipary mode of seed germination. The seed germination takes place when the seed remains inside the fruit. The seed is inside the fruit. Before the fruit falls down, the germination takes place. The germination of seed takes place when the fruit remains attached with the mother plant. The radicle is very long. Because of the weight of the radicle, the fruit falls down and it penetrates into the soil. It penetrates into the soil and produces roots. So above the ground level water is there. In this situation also, because of this mechanism, vivipary mode of germination, the plants can produce new generation. This is a special kind of seed germination.